thinking about what that means to put that many miles on your bike with a group of people that you really enjoy riding with.
Sure. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so, I'm not quite there. I think I'm 27,000, so I got a little ways to go.
Yeah, you said this year though, like how many miles have you put on your FXR this summer?
Oh, I mean, I've probably put a couple thousand on the FXR this year. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, obviously it'll be even slower to go up on the Street Glide because I'm riding the FXR quite a bit.
Sure. Yeah, it makes a huge difference when you have, a group of friends to ride with and, shared experiences, right? I mean, that's the biggest thing, right? I mean, shit, this whole weekend, I mean, it could be a episode, right? I mean, there was a lot to unpack. Like, we went 100 miles out of our way to go back the same direction to do the ride we initially were going to do to avoid that huge storm that I posted about in our Discord.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we went out of our way, and then when we got where we were going that was out of our way, we realized, hey, the storm is going to be passed by the time we go back down, so we can go the original route that we planned. Okay. So, because it was really, like I said, it was really more of a pivot. I was disappointed because I really wanted to take my friend up the entire North Shore of Lake Superior from Duluth all the way up to the Canadian border. And we thought we weren't going to be able to do that. And then we ended up being able to do it. So it was good.
That's great.
And we ran the gamut, right? The first day we went out, it was 80 degrees and humid. The second day, I wore heated gear almost the entire day.
I can't imagine that right now because it's like 180 degrees. But.
Oh, dude, it was 57 with about a 20-mile-an-hour wind blowing off of Lake Superior. It was cold. Like, I would have been cold without my heated gear.
Okay.
And I didn't turn it on, but just having it on is a great, windbreaker. Sure. And then today, I mean, we rode in rain and got soaked. And so, I mean, we did the whole thing. And I'm not a fair weather rider. I do things to mitigate the difficult circumstances that come when riding, right? I like to have good rain gear, those kind of things. But the storm that was pushing through on the one day would have made it impossible. There was a ton of lightning, straight line winds. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wasn't just rain.
No, it wasn't like you look on the radar and there's some green. It was all like yellow and red and that kind of shit. So you just got to avoid that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, I may have looked at the radar up that way, thinking of you guys this weekend, wondering how things were going. So
well, and today was one of those days where we got up and there was nothing on the radar, but it was all low slung clouds. So it was like that misty kind of like just that all day, almost like a drizzle, but just enough to be annoying and enough that riding for 300 miles, you'll be completely soaked if you don't have rain gear on kind of thing.
Sure.
So, yeah. Anyway, it's all part of the adventure. I'm not complaining. A day on your motorcycle is pretty much better than any other day you can think of. So.
Yeah, better than any day at work. I don't care how much you like your job.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love my job, but man, I'd rather be on a motorcycle any day.
Yeah. A shitty day on your motorcycle is probably better than any day at work. So,
well, you know that if you were to take actually, hold on, before we get started.
Yeah.
I have been really good, except for the last couple of weeks, about talking about like who we're supporting on our T-shirts. At least that's what I try to do.
Yeah.
And so 2 weeks ago, I was supporting Erin Vinecourt, who's an amazing singer and songwriter out of Nashville, and a great person. I've got to meet her a few times and chat with her. Actually, may have helped the band pack their U-Haul up after a random show I stopped at in Kansas on a bike trip last year. But anyway, if you like good old school country music, she's great. And then last week, supporting Chubby Boy Magic podcast, guys out of Oklahoma City. I got to meet them back in March. It was actually, they had me on the show, and they're good dudes. I hope to meet up with them maybe this fall on a trip, maybe out to Joplin or do something. But forgot to mention that. And then this week, Josh Malloy, another great singer-songwriter out of Oklahoma. I get to see him in concert here in St. Louis in November. And so if you like good country music, give Josh Malloy a try. He's pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, so I had Iron Horse Inn shirt on
a
couple of weeks ago. And then this one is a Go Fast, Don't Die. So, I was fortunate enough to interview Brady at one point in time on another podcast, and his story is great. His outlook and view on life is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And his sayings on his shirts. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, like it's one of those things where I could go out and just buy every one of them, right? Because they all just hit home. I mean, I ordered something from GoFast. I think it was a patch, a couple other things. Like when I first started riding again about 7 years ago, and he used to send out this card, almost like a postcard that had a saying on it, and I have that card in my toolbox still. It's been in there for 7 years. So,
Oh wow, okay.
yeah. So I mean, I really dig their stuff, and they host a couple of really cool rides. One of them where they ride to either Yellowstone or Glacier and back.
Oh,
Nice. Devilstone Run is what it's called.
Okay.
And they kind of do the same thing, and it's a really cool. I don't want to call it invite only because you can pay your dues to go, but the first year you pay your dues, you pay full price to go. Okay. And they set up all these stops, and you camp along the way.
Nice.
So there's a beginning and end to it, right?
Okay.
Then the next year you go, you get an early bird special because you're like a returning person, right?
Okay.
And then and that's a discounted rate. After like year 3, you're paying like the lowest rate, right? If you go like 3 years in a row or whatever, you're paying like the lowest rate.
Sure.
Because you kind of become a VIP. And there's a guy that I used to work with that went on the Devilstone Run, and he's gone every year since then. So I think he's on his 4th year.
Nice.
He said it's an amazing experience, and I feel like it's a week long kind of thing. Might be a little bit less than that, but
Okay.
you know, you go and you stop every day, and he always has all like these cool things lined up. Like there's tattoo artists, and there's always like a bar, and you know, so you're not like drinking and driving, but it might be at the end of the day kind of situation. And
sure.
so yeah, really set up as a cool thing. And you go to Devil's Tower. I think that's why it's called Devilstone Run. Devil's Tower is always one of the stops in Wyoming.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a cool event. He always puts it on. I believe it's like the week after or 2 weeks after Sturgis, so it's like right around that area.
Okay.
So I know for some people, you like kind of have to make that choice. I mean, unless you're independently wealthy and you can just go to Sturgis and then 2 weeks later go to the Devilstone Run. But
or you got a shit ton of PTO, whatever.
yeah, or a shit ton of PTO. But that's on my bucket list of runs to do. I really would like to do that at some point in time because I know a guy that goes, and I would. Definitely, and a lot of guys like ride like old bikes. You know what I mean?
That's
so
cool.
I think it would be really dope at some point in time to get my FXR running and do
there
that
you
on
go.
my FXR. So
Yeah.
but you know, again, like I said, that's a little ways away before I could work out something like that. So
Sure.
but I digress. Hey, this is a milestone episode, Luke.
Okay. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I'm
It
excited.
It is.
Thanks for letting me know.
It's I believe is it episode 10? Oh no.
Oh.
No, I don't think it is. It's episode 9. Wait, no.
Oh, this is 10.
Nope, this is 10. This is episode 10. Yep.
Why
Milestone
don't
episode.
you let me handle the numbers, okay?
Yeah, you
Just-
do the numbers.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm out of my element here.
Yeah, I mean, you get past 5, I know you get a little confused. So.
Yep, completely. Yeah, I have 10 fingers, so I should have been able to do 10, but you know, yeah, out of my element. You got the numbers from now on, so. But
yeah, that is. Thanks for bringing that up. I didn't think about that, but yeah, 10 episodes. How about that? That's
Yeah.
crazy. It's flown by.
Yeah, dude, it really has. It's gone by incredibly fast, and I'm excited. Like I'm pretty pumped because I think that we have a good thing, and we've been consistently growing, and people have been listening. So thank you, everyone out there who is supporting and listening to what we're doing. We are, you know, continuing to try to put out good content, and you know, if
Yeah.
you like it on podcast version or video version, it's out there either way. So go out, take a look, check us out, promote us to your friends. That doesn't cost you anything, and that really helps. And And the other thing that helps too, that helps promote the podcast, and if you guys would be willing to do so, those of you that are already listening, go out there and throw a rating on Spotify or Apple or something like that. We haven't said that in the past, but that does help promote the podcast. The higher the ratings, the more things kind of get pushed by the algorithms, that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, that only just helps us continue to do this, which we enjoy doing and want to do this for a long time. And looking at the number of subscribers and Patreon members, and shout out to our newest Patreon member, Pugs, out of Knoxville, Tennessee, a good buddy of mine. Appreciate the support and love. But Patreon members, subscribers, just the views alone, the streams, they continue to go up each week, and we're certainly grateful for that. Thank you. It's we feel the love, and it feels good to know that there's at least a few of y'all out there that enjoy listen to us and like the content we're putting out.
Yeah. Welcome to Moto State Podcast, where we talk about motorcycles, life, and everything in between. So enough of this self-love bullshit.
Yeah,
What are we talking about this week, Luke?
We're talking about cheap motorcycles.
Cheap motorcycles.
Like inexpensive. I shouldn't say. I don't mean cheap as in poorly made, because I have no idea. But inexpensive motorcycles.
Okay.
Mainly.
Okay. Any specific?
Yeah, mainly
motorcycle?
this new Harley Spirit that is going to be released next year, but we'll supposedly get a sneak peek of it in October at the dealers meeting, which I'm sure pictures will be coming out from that.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody's going to get some sort of sneak peek out there pretty soon too. So tell me what you think. So you obviously you've done a little bit of research. You know more than I do. So it's called the Harley Spirit, right?
Yep.
And what's this thing supposed to launch at?
$6,000 or
$6,000.
under 6,000, which I'm sure means $59.99.
Right. Yep.
But no really a lot of speculation, but no facts out there from Harley of what. Where it's going to be made, what size motor, what's it going to look like. When this started buzzing around just, in the last month or so, I mean, my first thought was, is this going to be their version of a Grom or something? Because the mini bikes are certainly so popular. But they've referenced the Spirit, which is actually not the first time they've had a motorcycle called the Spirit. I've been doing I've got the article pulled up right here. Or I'm sorry, I keep saying Sprint. I'm so sorry. Sprint.
Okay.
Sprint. I'm sorry. That's my fault. So back in the 60s, and I believe early 70s, they put out a bike called the Sprint. I think it was a Sprint 250. Yeah. So, as I said, and this is Harley's quote, inspired by our heritage and the spirit of the iconic Harley Davidson Sprint motorcycle, this new bike embodies boldness and fun, capturing the rebellious energy that defines the Harley Davidson experience.
So let's do some speculating here.
Yeah.
Is this going to be a V-twin?
Yeah. I mean, that's a great question. Will this be a V-twin? I mean, for that price point, I don't know.
Right. Because let's be honest, Harley, provided us with some serious fuckery a number of years ago with the 500 and 750. And those were epic fails, right? I mean, for all intents and purposes, they became the Harley Ride Academy motorcycles, right? Yeah. I mean, they really did not sell. They were very wildly unpopular. In my opinion, the ones that I saw, I felt were very cheap or cheaply made. Sure. And really, to me, the biggest fail of that entire bike was the gas tank. To me, that's what really, to me, made that motorcycle look like a piece of shit. Was a gas tank that had really good flavor and shape, and then they smashed the top of it with a square shovel and flattened it out. and to me that ruined the entire aesthetic of the motorcycle. That was just my hot take on it, and when I have talked about that bike in the past. So
Yeah.
a 6K motorcycle.
Yeah. I mean,
And let's hope the dealers don't commit their own style of fuckery and get this thing close to 10K with their own, markups and their own, add-ons and all the bullshit that you seem to find happening in some dealers. Not all dealers, but some dealers
Sure.
are, offering these markups that never seem to. Oh, you walk in there and you're like, hey, I saw on the website the Softail Lowrider ST is this price. I'm like, oh, no, it's $5,000 more than that here. So,
yeah, I mean, I did not have that experience when I bought my Street Glide, and I'm thankful for that. But I've heard plenty of horror stories, and that's just poor business. I mean, you want repeat clients, not piss somebody off and not come back.
Right.
So, I mean, I think, in reading some excerpts from Zeitz, he also said small displacement bikes is the only area that really shows growth right now, which is really the result of the affordability issues.
Okay.
So, I don't know if that gives more fuel to the fire. My thought of maybe it's going to be a Grom type bike, but it's definitely going to be smaller. I mean, it's $6,000, and a lot of people speculate, and I would agree that's probably not going to be made in the U.S. You can't make a $6,000 brand new motorcycle with a Harley tag for $6,000.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, there's probably some truth to that, right?
Yeah.
And nobody seems to bitch about the Honda Grom not being made in America, and that they sell the shit out of that bike, right?
Yeah.
And so there's quite a bit to unpack with this. I have some opinions.
Sure.
On not necessarily based in fact, but certainly some of it's based in fact of what we know about the marketplace and the consumer, and also some of it's about the Harley culture. But I want your hot take. How do you feel straight away? What do you think about a $6,000 Harley Davidson?
They need an inexpensive, and I'll use that term loosely, but need an inexpensive motorcycle in the lineup.
Okay.
I think I mean, even a $7,500 motorcycle, $8,000 motorcycle sounds way better than a $10,000, $12,000 entry level motorcycle. I'm concerned that that there's going to be so much hype because it's a new Harley motorcycle, and the potential backlash because people are going to feel it's cheap. I'm just not expecting any frills, anything fancy. A very straightforward, small displacement motorcycle that's going to look like a $6,000 bike. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I'm just not expecting much. And and for me, I look at it like that's just not in my wheelhouse, or I shouldn't say wheelhouse, but that's not a type of motorcycle I'm looking for. It's on my radar. If I'm gonna pay $6,000 for a bike, I'm gonna buy an old FXR to fix it up, or an old Dyna or something, right? So not something brand new. But I think that if this thing needs to be successful for Harley to help continue to get more new motorcycle riders into the fold, people that are on the fence, I think at a $6,000 brand new bike that's under warranty gets them over that fence. I really do.
So here's, and that's I'm glad that you put it that way, because I feel a little bit differently about that. So here's where I land, and bear with me for a second because it's a bit of a roundabout story to get to the answer. But so Harley has, I think, a few challenges that they're suffering from. The first thing is that Harley's heyday was when the baby boomers were in their 40s. Okay, that was the early 2000s when the late 90s, early 2000s when Harley was giving loans to anybody. Sure. And they were selling more motorcycles than any company out there, and they had their I think it was 2007, I want to say, was like their biggest year ever, right? They sold the most motorcycles that year, brand new motorcycles.
Yeah.
And but that lines up with your baby boomers, right? Well, what's happening is that that demographic is now buying their last motorcycle, or they've purchased their last motorcycle.
Yes.
Okay. My generation isn't big enough to support what that generation did. My generation's buying new bikes, but we're not a big enough generation. There's not enough of us to make that difference. Okay? Then you go to the millennials and you have multiple problems. Okay? You have a whole generation of kids that were raised on video games. So the idea of getting outside and riding a motorcycle, something that's inherently dangerous, doesn't appeal to them as much, right? They don't have as much disposable income, and the disposable income that they do have, they are not interested in buying a thing. They are interested in buying an experience, but not a thing. And Harley's found it difficult to translate riding a motorcycle into experiences.
Sure.
Especially with that generation. They just haven't found a way to connect with them, right? And here's where I think it gets a little bit interesting, okay? The millennial generation, what the millennial generation has really embraced is the dirty chopper culture.
Yeah.
There are a lot of 20-something chopper riders, right?
Sure.
Because it is an experience. You can buy a, piece of shit motorcycle. You can turn it into whatever you want to. The chopper culture is very welcoming. You don't have to worry about keeping it shiny and polished and whatever. It's kind of like the dirtier the better, right?
Right. Sure.
And there's a very real authenticity that is attached to that for the 20-something chopper culture, right? They don't have to feel like they need to go out and buy a uniform to ride a motorcycle, right? And hear me out when I say that, because you and I fall into this category, and it was told to me by a Harley Davidson marketer. She said, well, you don't really look like the people we're trying to attach ourselves to, because you look like the people that we already have, right? Which is the long beard, leather vest, right? All of the like the accoutrements, right? Like I already wear the uniform kind of thing. And I think that's where the culture is. I think that's where the culture is having a culture crisis right now, is with the millennials, is that they don't want the uniform, right? They don't want the bedazzled jeans. They don't want the emblazoned Harley everything, right? Sure. And they want authenticity, and to that they don't feel that's not authentic to them. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, yeah.
And so that's the culture crisis that Harley's suffering, is because they don't attach themselves, and that's the part of the culture that really built the industry, right? Mm-hmm. The t-shirt culture, the whatever, really built that industry because it helped them grow. It helped them. Every Harley rider became a walking billboard. Sure. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And the millennials they don't connect with that. And like I said, it becomes it's not authentic to them. Now, where I see the disconnect is that I find the authenticity for me in the experience and not the accoutrements, not the uniform, not the whatever, right? Sure. And there are pockets of it, right? You could say the performance beggar culture. Those guys are more likely to wear a hoodie and jeans and Vans than they are a vest and, you know what I mean? Yep. Or you can go to the Dynabro culture, which was a Dixon flannel and a vest or a 3/4 leather shirt, right? And Dickie shorts and long socks and Vans, right? Yep. There's these pockets of authenticity that exists, but by and large, if you were to put a lineup of people in front of millennials, and they might all be Harley riders, the millennials not going to pick out the Dynabro and the performance bagger guy and identify those guys as being Harley riders, right? They're going to look for the guy with the leather vest, the long gray beard, the long hair. I mean, I'm describing myself, right? The tattoos, like all of the things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that that is the struggle, in my opinion, that they're gonna find. And the chopper culture allowed them to go out, buy a shitty Sportster, turn it into a chopper, and then be authentic in their own ways, right? Why do you go to Camp Zero right now in Sturgis, and what are you going to find, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You're not going to find 60-year-old dudes there with $80,000 street glides.
Right.
Because they're not going to Camp Zero, right? Camp Zero is you're going to find the guy with the mini bike that, welded a wagon onto it to put his case of beer in.
That's right.
And he's going to use that to jump a campfire.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And that guy's probably 25 years old.
Yeah.
So it's a different. I think that now that exists in a pocket, but how do you get that group of people to understand that they are now responsible for shaping the new culture, and they don't have to be the billboard T-shirt wearing people. They don't have to be all that. But
are you
what
saying
they
that
see.
Harley should have a $6,000 chopper coming off the assembly line?
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
What I'm saying though is that I don't think the cost of the motorcycle is what is their barrier. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because the people that want to be in that culture are going out and buying the used bikes and turning them into choppers or doing whatever. Like, those people are finding it, right? Mm-hmm. The idea is the culture by and large is not appealing to a millennial. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because first of all, they see a CVO, which is a $67,000 motorcycle, right? And the person that's riding that bike, they don't identify with that person.
Sure.
Right? Because that person's not the salt of the earth like they used to be back in the day. That's a doctor or a lawyer or a dentist or an engineer, or that person makes a lot of money, because no one's riding a $67,000 CVO unless they have a good job.
Sure. Absolutely.
Right? And I'm not disparaging CVO culture. Not at all. Not even a little bit. I'm just saying that the next largest group of consumers after the baby boomers is the millennials, and they're not riding motorcycles. And part of it isn't Harley's fault, right? They're a video game generation.
Sure.
They're afraid to get their hands dirty. They don't do blue collar work by and large, right? They were sold a bill of goods that proved to them to be false. Go out and get an education, and you're going to get a good job. That's not true.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just that's not the reality. And so they, so to them, and so their reaction to that is, I'm not going to be a purveyor of things. Right? I'm not going to buy an expensive car. I'm not going to buy an expensive motorcycle. I will very likely not buy a house till I'm in my 40s. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So you're trying to tell somebody who's not going to buy a house until they're in their 40s that they should go out and even buy a $28,000 bagger or a lowrider ST?
Sure.
Right? The lowrider ST has become the affordable motorcycle, and it's still over $25,000.
Right. Yeah.
So I think, again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am full of shit.
Do you think this bike won't? Sounds to me like you don't think this bike will move the needle, and maybe it won't be very successful.
No, I don't.
Okay.
And I don't think it's going to have anything to do with where it's being made. I don't think it has any. I think it could be successful, honestly, if it's like a Grom, if it's like a mini bike. Mm-hmm. I think it could be successful like that. If it's a cheap knockoff of of what used to be the Sportster, no, I don't think it's going to be successful, because they had that opportunity with the 500 and the 750, and they failed miserably. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, is this the next? Because remember when Honda did that? What was it? The Cub, right?
Yeah.
The biggest selling motorcycle in the history of bikes, the Honda Cub, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was light, it was accessible, it was super cheap, it was easy, and it was actually utilitarian. You know what I mean? You could do stuff with it. I mean, go to India, you can find those things holding about 485 pounds worth of groceries along with the rider. You know what I'm saying? So if they do something like that, maybe, right? But
Okay.
And if it's a mini bike, I'm here to tell you the people that are going to buy it are going to be those of us that have money laying around that want a small, mini bike to run around on.
You don't think the culture, the Grom culture, those folks will buy into that?
No, it's too expensive. You can buy a brand new Grom for $4,000.
Are they that cheap? Okay, I thought
Yeah.
they were more than that. Okay,
No, but I mean, here's the deal: the Grom doesn't go over 45 miles an hour,
right.
and not with my big ass on it. I mean, for me, it'd be like a scooter.
Talk about what people are up. Man, they were putting some money into their Groms, though.
Oh,
and
yeah,
making them really fucking fast. It's scary.
They absolutely are. Absolutely are. Yep. For sure. And you can make those things nearly unrideable because they I don't want to go 85 miles an hour on a wheel that's as big as a donut I can buy at the grocery store.
Shit, no. Man,
right?
that's
but they're doing it. So, but there's cultures that exist like that all over. I'm here to tell you this weekend. Bob and I were riding on the North Shore of Lake Superior. These two dudes go by us. I shit you not. They were on scooters, and those things had saddlebags. They had giant bags strapped to the back. They were doing cross country on scooters.
Holy shit!
Two dudes, cross country on scooters. So I mean, you can find you can find a subculture. Have you ever? Okay, so you know the movie The Long Way Down, right?
Yeah.
So there's a movie. I think it's called The Slow Way Across.
Yeah,
and
there's a documentary.
Yeah,
they do
it's a documentary. It's a group of guys that ride across the country on scooters.
It's wild, man.
Right.
It's so wild.
And those fuckers don't go over 40 miles an hour. I mean, so think about how long it's going to take you. It's going to take you 3 weeks to get across the country in one of those.
Yeah,
right?
dude. It's a long trip.
But again, it's about the right. That's about those guys have it on lock because what have they discovered? It's about the experience.
Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they said that this went into development in 2021, so this is 4 years in the making.
Which seems about right.
Yeah, and I'm sure that in like anything, I'm sure the designs change or some things have changed. It'll be interesting to see. Is it more of a mini bike, or is it just a smaller displacement Sportster-esque type bike that is a launching pad to maybe, I could also see, well, this $6,000, but you can get this Nightster for $10,000, $4,000 more, and a lot more motorcycle and blah blah blah. I mean, who knows? I mean, it'll be interesting to see.
And maybe, but you know what? That Nightster's a mean motherfucker. I'm here to tell you.
Yeah.
It's like okay, there's motorcycles that a brand new rider shouldn't ride. The Sportster S. You should never put a new rider on a Sportster S.
Oh God, no.
That thing is a fucking rocket ship.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. Do not put a new rider on that. The Nightster, no. I would say the same thing about that bike.
It's got the VVT motor in it.
Oh,
too,
absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. That bike is hot as hell.
Hop on Cruisy Originals YouTube page. Dude, they do some crazy stuff, and they're probably. I mean, I'm sure there's other companies, but I think they're the ones that are really coming out with some aftermarket parts for it, and they are all in on that bike.
Well, he ate them, right? And then he got one, and he rode it around a bit, and he fell in love with it. He said, this is a bomb-ass bike that just been forgotten about by Harley.
Yep.
Right? And I had a Nightster. I had the old school Sportster
no
Nightster.
Shit. Nice.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And I loved the shit out of that bike.
That's cool.
I loved it, and here's the reason why, because it was like a upper class Sportster, right?
Okay.
Because it was the 1200. It had higher bars. You could, if like I'm a bigger dude, I could ride it, and I didn't look like a monkey fucking a football. I mean,
nice.
There was some things about it. I mean, I'm here to tell you, my favorite production motorcycle that Harley's ever made at all, is the Sportster 72.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That thing that was with the candy paint that was all sparkly, and the fucking it was just chrome, just dripping with chrome. Dude, that's my favorite bike.
Had the spoke rims.
Spoke wheels.
Yeah.
It looked,
or wheels, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it looked like a chopper, right? It did.
Yeah.
High handlebars. I mean, that thing was, solo seat, like fuck a passenger, right? Like
Sit on the fender.
Exactly. Sit on the fender or don't ride, right? Yeah. I mean, just like right off the showroom floor, that is by far my favorite motorcycle that they've ever made. But I don't know. I'm old school, right? I like that old school flavor. But
I think I feel like that with Harley's. What do they got? Those like X440s and X500s or whatever that are overseas. They're not in the U.S.
Yep.
I'm sure it's going to be based off something similar to that. I can't imagine that they're completely reinventing the wheel for a $6,000 motorcycle. Would be my guess.
No, and I think they've proven with the Pan America that they can make a bike that doesn't sound like a Harley but still has a wide appeal. Also, You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like those Pan Americas have finally started gaining traction.
Oh, absolutely. And the people that I know that have had them, they've all universally said, and now's the time to get one because they've worked the bugs out of them now, right? Yeah. You get a Pan America now, it's a legit motorcycle. That thing is I've ridden one. I finally got to ride one this year.
Oh, nice.
Some of the most fun I've ever had on a bike. I mean, I didn't ride it in the greatest of circumstances because I rode it when we were riding to my friend Percy's prayer service.
Okay.
But I will tell you that, and thank you to my friend Walter for allowing me to ride his motorcycle. That's the most fun that I've had on a bike in a really long time.
Wow.
And then my other friend Tony, he sold his fully built Lowrider S. I mean, he put the Repop FXR fairing on it, Villain to Hero bags. I mean, he fully, all paint matched, fully built out. Put a new cam in it. Has the 117. Put a cam in it. Had it dynoed. New exhaust. I think he got a Thrashin because it has the anti-reversion. And I mean, just fully built. And he traded in on a Pan America this year, and he put more miles in 1 week on that Pan America than he did on that Lowrider S in 2 years that he had it.
Yeah, he's been raving about that thing. He loves it.
Yeah, he also said he's dropped it more times than he's dropped a motorcycle in 10 years. I mean, and that's saying something. He had it parked in his garage, sent me pictures, dirty as fuck. Seriously, Tony had a whole thing that he used to do. He'd go on a ride, and then at the end of the ride, he'd get gas before he went home, so his bike was filled with gas. Then when he put it in the garage, he'd clean it. He had a whole process, and he cleaned the bike. So when he put his bike away, it was full of gas and completely clean, ready for the next ride. This bike, he had it sit in his garage, dirty as fuck, mud all over it, dirt all over it. I was like, dude, is that thing up for sale already?
Already given up on it? What's going on?
No, he loves it. He loves it.
Yeah. Well, obviously time will tell. I don't. I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be it's not going to move the needle, and I don't know that Harley hasn't presented it like it's going to be a game changer either. I don't know. We'll see. I agree with you that with millennials, it's probably not the bike they're looking for. I think target market on this is going to be newer riders and a lower barrier, a less barrier of entry into the motorcycle world and start riding.
Right. And I think I'd love to see there be a shift in hog chapters, and not and I'm not disparaging where they are, but I would love to see hog chapters doing things that appeal to younger people a little bit more. You know what I mean? To bring them into the fold, because I think one of the things I said a long time ago, and not all dealerships are like this, but I found a few dealerships this way. My local dealership was like this here in town, and they actually are closed now. But here's my story with that, is that I had made a list of all the things I was doing to my Nightster on the off season.
Okay.
Okay, it was in like October. I went in there and I was dressed in like professional attire, right? So I had like a long sleeve button up shirt on, I had slacks, I had dress shoes on, and I went in to pick up some parts that I had on order for my Nightster. I had a whole list of parts that I was going to be buying. New exhaust, different bars, you know what I mean? Fairing, all these things. I mean, I was going balls deep. And but I ordered the new exhaust gaskets first. So I went to the dealer to pick them up.
Okay.
And I actually had my daughter with me, and I walked by, and there was a brand new 2017 Road King Special sitting there. And I stopped to look at it, and right away a salesman came over to me, and he said, have you ever sat on one of these before? And I was like, no. And he goes, you should sit on this. And so I was like, no, I'm okay. And he goes, no, really, sit on it. So he did the whole salesman thing where he stood in front of the bike and held the bars so I could sit on it with both feet.
Mm-hmm.
Sat on it, put my feet up on the footboards, put my arms up on the handlebars, and I was like, oh, shit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was
That's
like,
a good salesperson.
Yeah, I was like, oh, shit. Then he made the cardinal mistake, which is he didn't try to close me at all. He didn't even try to sell me the bike or do anything. I was like, wow, that's really nice. And he goes, hey, you want to see something really cool? He goes over to his desk. He gets a flashlight and comes over and he clicks on it and he goes, actually, look at this. He goes, this bike's blue, not black. And I was like, oh shit. That year they had a color that was like this midnight blue, and it only looked blue in the sunlight. Otherwise, it looked black all the time.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's really dope. And this, I shouldn't say that. It might have been 2018. Or just could have been right before 2018. But he didn't try to sell me the bike. He just showed me the paint, had me sit on the bike, and then, oh, you're buying exhaust flange for a bike you already have? Okay, well, you have a good day, right? I immediately went home. I Googled Road King specials, and that's when I found mine, and I bought it from a dealer 150 miles away. And 2 weeks later, that bike was in my garage. and literally, I signed the papers and did everything like over the internet, basically,
sure.
And signed the papers. And then they sent a trailer to my town to pick up service bikes, picked up my Sportster, dropped off so I went to work one morning. My Sportster was in the garage. I came home, and the Road King was in the garage, and the Sportster was gone.
It's like Christmas.
It was just like Christmas. Absolutely. Christmas in November. I bought a bike in November, right? Like, it literally snowed like 2 days later. Nice. But I mean,
well, I agree with you on the hog chapter piece, though. Yeah, is it really? When I first got my heritage, I had gone through the class at dealership here, and so I joined the hog chapter. And for folks that maybe aren't as familiar with this, that maybe are tuning in, the hog chapter Harley ownership group. Most dealerships have one. They get together and they plan rides, and you'll pass a dealership and they're grilling hamburgers and hot dogs or whatever. Those are typically hog members that are volunteering their time at the dealerships. But I joined because I didn't know any better, right? So joined and I've made friends from there. Don't get me wrong, but I definitely brought the average age down a bit in the room when I was at a meeting. It was a lot of, it wasn't what I was looking for. And the rides, I mean, they put away some great rides, but there may have been 30, 40, 50 bikes, but we're riding super slow, and it just wasn't my jam, and I guess out of probably loyalty to the owner that I've become friends with of the dealership, I stayed a member of the hog chapter until this year. He just sold the dealership. So I was like, well, I'm not renewing this. Like, there's just no point. So moved on.
Yeah. I don't think that this bike is going to do what they needed to do to attract more people to the, to riding motorcycles. And I think that's, a couple of years ago, they had this focus on the rider experience. You know what I mean? And and I know that they've gotten influencers involved and that kind of stuff. I think influencers have probably brought more new riders to the fold than Harley Davidson has in the last few years.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? Because they're relatable and they're somebody that might live down the street from you. That kind of stuff.
Well,
They're not.
Do you think influencers have brought more riders or just helped with sales of existing folks?
I think both of those things are true. I think that there are a few influencers out there that did ride videos like how to ride a motorcycle, how to shift a motorcycle, how to stop your motorcycle, right? There's some people that have done that. There's a couple of influencers out there, I would call them influencers, that have done safety videos that they really tried to unpack the things about motorcycling, I think, that made it difficult for people to digest, right?
Okay.
I think influencers working on their own motorcycles, I think that brought a lot more people to the fold because they weren't afraid of the motorcycles breaking down, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I do think that I know this has been talked about ad nauseum, but there was this overarching thing in the Harley culture for a long time that Harleys were unreliable machines that broke down all the time.
Sure.
And that actually is now been proven to be completely false. They're some of the most reliable motorcycles on the market right now.
Absolutely.
So, so that there's a lot of articles that you can reference where you can find that that's a true statement. Now, that's not something I'm making up or just saying it because I'm a fan, right? But, I think the issue that Harley's going to have is point of entry. Zeitz is right. Point of entry is a real thing.
Yeah.
That's an
especially in this economy right now. This isn't 2020 where there's an influx of cash being thrown around.
Right.
So
right. But let me tell you this, because Harley has spent a lot of time and energy telling everybody that they're a premium brand. Okay. If Mercedes-Benz made a $20,000 Mercedes right now, do you think that's going to bring more people to a Mercedes dealership?
That's a good question. I don't know. Probably not.
Right.
I don't know that. I think that makes it affordable to have a Mercedes, but I think then the cost of upkeep on that is where.
I just think that the people that are looking to buy a Mercedes, even if you put one that was $20,000, aren't going to feel like it's their place, right?
Gotcha.
Like if there's people that feel like Harley's a premium brand, they're not going to a Harley dealer to buy a $6,000 motorcycle because they feel like Harley's a premium brand and they already don't belong there.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, almost exclusivity to it, right?
Right.
I mean, it's
and then you throw
upper echelon.
Right. Then you throw the culture thing into it, where they're cosplaying and I don't fit into that. Now you've got two problems, right? You're a premium brand that the people that are walking in can't afford, and I don't belong there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
that's your $20,000 buyer is a lot different than like right now on Mercedes website the least expensive vehicle on here is $41,500.
Right. That's what I'm
before
saying.
You do anything. Yeah.
Before you do anything,
that's a different buyer.
Yeah,
that's a completely different buyer.
If you put a $20,000 Mercedes out, because the people that are looking for a $45,000 Mercedes and the people that are looking for a $20,000 car, those people looking for a $20,000 car aren't going to a Mercedes dealer because they don't fit in.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
And I think that's the problem, right? I mean, there are dealerships in this country right now that you don't have a cool guy card to go into the dealership unless you actually have a Harley. How the fuck am I supposed to get a cool guy card if I don't have the Harley?
Gotcha. Yeah, I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
$6,000 bike isn't going to do shit for that. But that's my that's my feeling on it. I think that I don't know.
Hearing that makes me think even more. And I've said it a couple times now, but maybe it's going to be a Grom type bike.
Maybe and here I think it should be. right?
Yeah, I agree.
Or a Honda Cub or something along those lines. It should be something non-traditional Harley.
Don't bastardize a Harley to make it cheap, make it inexpensive.
Yes.
Yeah. So go something completely different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's a much better take on it, right? Yeah, no, I agree. And that might do it because they did a survey a while ago on the Pan America. Did the Pan America bring new riders to the fold? You know it didn't. You know what it did do? A lot of guys traded in their other Harleys, or they purchased a Pan America that were people that already had them as a second bike, or they traded in their Softail and they got a Pan America, right? I don't think you had an ADV rider going into a Harley dealership. That's a culture problem.
Yeah, I mean, and not that I know a ton of adventure rider guys or females, but they seem pretty loyal to their KLRs, their BMWs, whatever, right? That they are not going to go buy a Harley more than likely.
Well, and the KLR people are suffering right now because that company folded.
Right.
So I mean, it's a fickle market, right? The KLR had a popular following in the adventure riding scheme, and that whole the KLR 650, one of the most bulletproof motorcycles ever built in the history of motorcycles. You can literally fix it with a pop can and JB Weld.
That's right. Yeah.
You know,
and a paper clip.
Yep. I mean, there's a video of a guy on YouTube. He has a giant channel, Fortnite. So he took a KLR and literally threw it in a lake. He took it out, completely disassembled it, cleaned all the parts, reassembled it, and put it back together and started up and drove it away. You know, like submerged it in a lake for like a period of time, right? He showed a video, and then that's what I said about the pop can and the JB Weld, where he was like riding like some adventure riding, and he cracked something and it was leaking oil, and he fixed it with a pop can and JB Weld and kept driving it.
Amazing.
So I mean, like, and KLR had, like I said, that 650 was one of the most popular bikes ever, right? And they were cheap.
Yeah. I think just thinking here, when the new design bikes that we've seen the last few years from Harley, take out the Lowrider ST, but more importantly, you look at the Pan America. So when they came out with a new bike, they went a completely different direction, right?
Yeah.
Went something different. So it wouldn't surprise me if they continue with that trend. So to say, with a smaller bike or something completely different, not a watered down Sportster or Nightster or whatever. Yeah, no, I love that when you said don't bastardize a Harley, just go something completely different, right? Yeah. And I think that I'm 100% with you on that. I think that would be the way to go with this bike, and maybe would be more likely to be successful. Yeah, and we'll know probably in I'm actually looking up right now. In 60 days, we're going to know, hopefully, what that looks like. I mean, and I'm excited for that. I think it's awesome. I think they have some, real opportunity to do, to open a door maybe that hasn't been opened for them before. And I don't believe that's may or may not be a new rider door, but I think it's just a different opportunity. Sure. The smaller displacement bikes are very popular. Or they're going to fuck us all up, and it's a fucking dirt bike. Like, what the hell? I mean, Harley has a race history, right? Yeah. With those bikes. I mean, that would be pretty dope, to be honest with you. Absolutely, it would. I don't think that would be a bad idea either. I don't know a complete dirt bike, but like a what are those things called? The ones that are like the dirt. They can be dirt and street. Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. They have a name. It has a name. Yeah. Not a crossover, but there's some Dual sport name. Or whatever. Dual sport. Yeah. Like something like that, right? I mean, holy hell, that might be a banger for them, right? That'd be cool. Something because that was the take with the Pan America right away. There's a lot of people that wanted like a 650 version of that bike because it's so fucking big and heavy. Sure. You know what I mean? And tall and everything, yeah. And tall, right? A little more nimble if you're off-road. Yes, make something a little bit smaller. Yeah. I mean,
maybe that's their market.
We'll see.
Yeah. I like those ideas appeal to me a lot more, right, than unpacking the whole, like you said, just a cheaper knockoff version of a Sportster or a Nightster or something like that. I'm with you. I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah.
No, that was good. That was a really good take, Luke. I mean, great point, because I think
that's and that 1 out of every 10 episodes. That's my average. I'm pretty excited about it. You're welcome. Stay tuned for the next 10 episodes. I'll have one more. It'll be great.
We'll get one.
And guys, drop in the comments. Let us know what you think it's going to look like or what it might be, and is this worth Harley going down this path? We'll see what happens.
Yep. So we reached episode 10.
Yeah.
Where Luke and I discussed early on that we probably weren't going to have any guests until episode 10, and obviously you've seen we've already had our first guest. Yeah. So probably going into the winter, coming up here, fall, winter, we're going to start lining up some guests. So get a little bit more frequency on that kind of scenario. So
yeah, I'm excited.
Join our Discord. If you have a guest in mind that you'd like to see us have on, drop some names in there. I think it might not be a bad idea, Luke, for us to create a channel in the Discord
that
one. Says future guests. Is there one already? See,
yeah.
Look at this guy. He's already ahead of me.
Thank God I'm here. I mean,
super organized. I mean, I can barely keep my head on straight.
Well, yeah. So episode subject and guest ideas is a channel in our Discord. So drop some suggestions there.
And please, if you guys would be so kind, don't start a conversation in there about a guest, right? Put a suggestion, drop a guest, leave it at that. If you want to have a conversation, bring it to another channel, because we don't want to have to filter through a whole bunch of shit on there to try to find out the suggestions that people have. Like if somebody puts a guest idea and you think it's great, man, give it a thumbs up. The more thumbs up in there, the more likely that it's going to gather our attention.
Drop their name, Instagram handle, or whatever, and a couple sentences, context of who they are or what they do. If it's not it's not a industry known name, and I'm. Let us know that. But yeah, no conversations. It just makes it easier on us. Yep. For sure.
And I know we're going to hit some popular topics. So we're going to try to find some people in the EDC world. Now, please understand when we say EDC, that doesn't mean straight to guns. Okay, so the EDC world, about what guys might carry in their pockets, what girls might carry in their purses, that kind of stuff. Not straight to guns, please.
Is that a pocket knife, mace, bear spray?
Right. What it might be, right? What kind of wallet do you use? Right, these kind of things. Okay,
absolutely.
We talked about getting some people from the camping world. I know ADV world's huge. So. We have some ideas out there. Please, if you have topics that you want us to discuss that are not motorcycle related, do not be afraid to put those in there too. We have had a couple non-motorcycle related topics up until now. I know that Luke and I will continue to spread our wings. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say when neither one of us are riding this winter, there's going to be more topics non-motorcycle related, or we'll be venturing into those topics a little bit further. There's a few things that we talked about with Ashley in the past that we'd like to unpack again with mental health and some things like that. So, don't be afraid to put it out there because, like we said before, it's going to be, motorcycles, life, and everything in between. So
yeah. And if you have a non-motorcycle subject idea and are not comfortable putting that in Discord, feel free to DM us on Instagram, and we're happy to keep that anonymous. But would appreciate those ideas in whatever way you want to communicate that to us that you feel comfortable with. Doesn't have to be Discord. So.
And per usual, just like Lucas said in the past, we asked you earlier to rate the podcast. If you would do so, that'd be great. Buy some merch if you like what we're doing. If you want to support us further, you can join Patreon, and Discord is always free. Luke had mentioned in a podcast in the past that our This Shit Ain't Free shirt is going to be going away pretty soon. I'm going to tell you that shirt is going to be available only until the end of August.
There you go.
So by the time this podcast comes out, it's going to be real close to coming off. So I am going to be going out there and buying my merch, and at that point, that sucker is going to be short-lived. So if you wanted This Shit Ain't Free shirt, get out there and get it, and we will be looking for our next unique and individual short-run drop.
Yeah, ideas are already flowing. If I didn't have these earmuffs on, you'd see the steam coming out of my ears.
So per usual, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. We out.
See ya.